Multi-step problem solving is a very difficult process for our middle school students. Let's take a look at a multi-step problem that was in the 6th grade release test. Here we have an awful lot of information being presented to the students at one time. We have with us today Cheryl Gray, middle school mathematics specialist from Spotsylvania County. Cheryl, can you tell us why do we even bother presenting so much information at a chart at one time?
Because students need to know how to do this. This is how information is presented in the real world, and they need to be able to look at these charts and critically read them and pull information from them.
So how do we teach the kids to read the charts?
We're going to need to give our students more practice with this on a regular basis. This isn't a skill you can teach in one day and leave. You've got to do this on a regular basis so students get comfortable with what they're doing when they're looking at these charts and graphs. I would also make sure our students know the problem-solving process, those 4 steps, so they can use that information to help them along. And I would also make sure we are doing this throughout our units, not just at the end as a summary, but throughout. The first thing I would do when looking at charts like this is just get rid of the question, so they don't even look at that they're just looking at the graph and they're pulling the information from the graph or the table. So from here, for example, the students would just pull out clarinet reads, there's 10 per box, and they're $5.13. So they're just pulling out piecemeal versus looking at the whole thing. The next thing I would definitely make sure my students could do is write their own questions. And those questions can be very simple, like how many reeds are in a clarinet box, or how much does a box of oboe reeds cost. But the questions, I think, will get more complicated as our students are more comfortable with reading and summarizing what information is here. The next thing I would do is put the original question back up and have the students summarize what they see in their own words. So for example, with this one, instead of all of these words here, a student might simply say, this question is asking me, how much does it cost to buy 10 of each type of reed? And from there, the students, once they get the answer and you've had a discussion about that, they could change the essential information that's given in the question. So instead of maybe 10 of each different type of reed, they could say, how much does 5 of each different type of reed cost?